GF blocked all my female friends, family and coworkers from my EG account. When I asked her why she's isolating me, she went nuts and started destroying things. My 23 male girlfriend, 22 female, blocked every girl on my Instagram while I was in the shower. Original post. My girlfriend and I started dating in February and moved in together in October. I don't really have anything worth keeping secret from her, so I'm comfortable leaving my phone around knowing she knows my password. I noticed this morning that my Instagram follower account was off and discovered that every female wasn't followed or blocked. These were all coworkers, friends I made in the army, family friends, etc. I confronted her and she started crying and blaming it on trust issues. I have never cheated on any relationship and do my best to maintain mutual trust. I've been thinking all day while she's at work and feel like she permanently broke my trust. She also doesn't let me play video games with my male friends anymore because she feels left out. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Dude, just leave. You don't need to plan an escape. Just sit her down and tell her you're breaking up. Then leave and go no contact. The fact she doesn't let you game with the boys is already a red flag and a deal breaker. This additional insane behavior is icing on the cake. This happened to me, but it was an ex-boyfriend. He also did it after I told him it was a boundary for me, and if it was crossed, I would leave. After catching him doing exactly this, I calmly walked him to the front door of my house and said, "I told you if you break this boundary, we are over. So this is the end of our romantic relationship. I love you as a person, but this is unacceptable, and we will potentially talk later if and when I feel ready for it." And then I shut the door. And that was that. Real story. Why I set that boundary is because behavior like this is irrational and highly manipulative. And if they do this once, they will do it again. I personally have zero tolerance for this because of that. I say leave now because it's going to happen again. Plus, all of the other controlling behavior is screaming this is going to keep getting worse. If you don't set that boundary and break up, you are teaching her it's okay to behave like this. Staying in relationships where someone is doing this right off the rip is also teaching yourself that it's okay to be abused and manipulated, which is unhealthy for you both on so many levels. I know it's complicated when leases are involved, but I promise there is a way out. And it's going to be better to pull the plug now before it continues to escalate and your entire life is up in flames. There has to be a way to do so. Find your inner worth, my guy, and claim it because staying with this type of behavior ain't it. That would be a deal breaker for me. She invaded your privacy and messed with your stuff. She's nuts. She could have chosen to speak to you about her concerns, but she got sneaky instead and then wants to cry about it? Nah. Get out. That's some weird controlling and manipulative mess. Giving someone access to see what's up isn't consent to mess around with your stuff. These are the steps that lead to abuse, Toby. She has a lot of growing up to do. She has healing to do. Both are required to have a healthy adult relationship that includes trusting her partner. If she doesn't trust you this much after 10 months, she's never going to trust you. Now for the update. The night after I submitted my original post, I told her I needed boundaries while gaming with my friends. This resulted in a bad argument and a breakup. She broke my PC and threatened to give my cat to the Humane Society. The kennel was hers, so I had no way to get him out until I convinced her not to make this the cat's problem. She also threatened my sister for letting me stay with her and started harassing my friend I play games with. She made sure to call all of her friends and family to make sure they knew she was 100% the victim. While I was putting my stuff in the car, she started kicking my bags, threatening me, and tried to get in the car while I was pulling off. I received about 400 phone calls, texts, Instagram messages, etc. I wanted to relay some of your advice to her, but she clearly wasn't interested in taking any accountability. I blocked her on all platforms. I forgot a bunch of stuff while scrambling to leave, and she told me she was selling my $600 Garmin and anything else I forgot. My cats and I are now living on my sister's couch for the time being. So everyone's saying, dude, just leave. I planned on secretly moving all my stuff out while she was at work because I knew this would be the reaction. Looks like he dodged a bullet here. I mean, I wouldn't say he dodged it. He's homeless now, and she broke and stole a bunch of his stuff. He could have married her. That's the bullet he dodged. And he should have done what women have done. Gotten the police to go with him to retrieve his belongings. She's an abuser. Never be alone with her again. If you go back to get her stuff, bring people you trust with you. Not just because she might hurt you, but because she might accuse you of things. She clearly has no limits. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. Be safe. Tell her that if she sells anything and doesn't return it to you in great condition, you'll take her to small claims court. And every time she collects a check, you'll be getting those garnished wages. Next story. I was cruel to my ex-mistress, and I don't regret it. He cheated on me with her for 3 years. And now, 6 months after I ended things, she shows up on my doorstep crying about how she caught him making plans to meet up with a woman he met on Tinder. Like, excuse me? She really thought I would take pity on her for being pregnant and getting cheated on when he was at her place screwing her while I had to deliver our stillborn daughter. I cannot make this stuff up. She's that delusional, and she had the audacity to get upset when I laughed at her. I had no idea why she thought I would be sympathetic. I guess she assumed that since we were both cheated on by the same person, I would see where she was coming from. But I've never given her any indication that I'd be a good person to confide in. I despise her, and she knows it. I told her as much, and she started crying how she was sorry and regretted everything, claiming she never wanted to hurt me. Totally. She knew about me, but that she loved him. I told her to get lost and to cry to someone else because I couldn't even pretend to feel sorry for her after everything she and he did to meet my kids. I said we weren't friends just because she was stupid enough to think she was different. I know it's cruel, and all of this makes me a bad person, but I'm unapologetic. She and my ex messed with my life and my health, and now her calm is that her delusions were shattered. She'll have to deal with the both of us for at least the next 18 years. If they do it with you, they'll do it to you. She thought the leopards weren't going to eat her face. As they say, when a man marries his mistress, that creates a vacancy. She fooled around and found out. I don't think you're a bad person at all, but I do think it makes her an even worse person to come crying to you, of all people, for sympathy. I'll never understand why she came to me when she knows that I hate her. Here's hoping that the new mistress is smarter than she is, LMFAO. Guessing it's because everyone else in her life wasn't giving her the response she wanted or because she was rightfully too ashamed and/or embarrassed to tell them. Either way, not your problem. I'm always baffled at those men or women who think they're so special that they'll be the exception. Karma's a bitch, but we love her. She learned a hard lesson and has nobody to talk to and came to you. She's a joke. I hope you heal and are happy, especially seeing their downfall. I'm doing much better now. Thank you. It's been a hard time, but I have a good support system, and I've been trying to heal for myself and for my kids. I'm so happy to hear that. I stayed single after my ex, and it took a while to heal. One day, I'll hopefully find someone who is like him to sweep me off my feet. I hope you find that too. They're not all bad, but some need to realize the damage they do to a person. Next story, my dad got my boyfriend fired. My 23 female dad and I had a strained relationship my whole life. He is one of those guys who thinks it is better to be feared than loved, even when it comes to your kids. My boyfriend, Tom, 24 male, and I met our freshman year of college. We had a lot of the same interests and a similar sense of humor, and we quickly became best friends. It took us both way too long to realize that we were in love with each other. We have been dating for 5 years now. He truly is my best friend, and I love him very much. Tom is really big in family. He and his family are incredibly close, and he really wanted to make a good impression on mine. I have brought Tom to every single birthday, holiday, and family gathering that I've attended since we started dating. My mom adores Tom. Every time we go see her, he bakes her banana bread, her favorite, and always helps her with fixing things around her house. He plays Xbox with my little brother and buys him a new game once in a while. He gossips with my younger sisters when they spill tea about their classmates at school. He'll help me sneak my siblings out to Sonic for late-night milkshakes. Everyone loves being around him because he is a good man and has taken the time to form relationships with him. However, my dad has barely ever spoken to him. Over the years, I've asked him to engage with Tom more, but he refused. Tom has tried very hard to connect with my dad, and I told him not to take it personally and that my dad is just like that. I came to my breaking point one day when I casually mentioned that Tom and I are considering getting married soon. My dad told me that there is no chance in hell that I should consider marrying anyone until he got to know him. I asked my dad why he was just now showing an interest in getting to know Tom since we've literally been dating for years. He told me that there was no point in getting to know him before since he didn't think Tom was worth talking to. At this point, I was very upset. I asked how he would know if Tom was worth talking to if he never really carried a conversation with him. My dad blew up at me. He told me that I was being disrespectful to him and that it is not my job to question his experience. He then proceeded to tell me that I am far too naive and simple-minded to make a decision of this magnitude without his expertise. I lost it. Years of being frustrated with my dad for his dismissal of my feelings just took over. I started yelling at him about how he has no right to talk to me like that since I am an adult, and I have been making my own decisions for years now that he can't have an opinion on my love life since he barely knows me, that Tom is twice the man that he's ever been, and that if he ever wanted to talk to me again, he needed to apologize to me. I left feeling angry, but almost relieved that I finally stood up to my dad for the first time in my life. I went to visit Tom later that night to tell him what happened. When I got there, he looked really upset and told me that he had just been fired at his tech job. I asked him why, and he said he was given no reason. He was escorted out of the building by HR in the middle of the day. A few minutes later, my dad calls me, and I let it go to voicemail. He said that I left him no choice and that he needed to show me that I was wrong. Turns out, my dad is good buddies with some in HR at Tom's workplace, and he was fired at my dad's request. My dad has never acted like this to my knowledge, and it seems like he's gone crazy. My dad still has legal custody over my younger siblings and is trying to file a restraining order against Tom to prevent him from seeing them. He stole all of the money in my savings account that I've been saving for years, about $12,000, that I forgot he was a signer on, and transferred it to an account I don't have access to. He has been calling the police telling them that Tom is abusing me, and they need to arrest him. I have been questioned about this several times. My dad refuses to respond to any of my texts or calls, but he has been leaving Tom hundreds of voicemails about how he will regret turning me against him. We are talking to a lawyer about taking steps to undo this mess, and my mom is starting to process to get sole custody of my younger siblings. Everything has been really stressful. But Tom has been an incredible partner throughout this whole ordeal. I am more sure than ever that Tom is the man for me, and we will be getting married once this is all resolved. Can Tom sue's ex-employer might be able to get HR fired? Save that voicemail from Daddy. It's evidence against the company and against Daddy for interfering in your boyfriend's occupation. Your father should probably be checked for some kind of medical issue, dementia, brain tumor, stroke, but for now, he's a danger to be around. Your father is a sociopath. Follow the legal guidance and get him out of your life as soon as possible. Seriously, file a police report about the money being taken from your account. If he's a signer, he legally can access and transfer the money. It's not a police issue, but a civil one, unfortunately. You see this BS all the time in banking. That's why you should always open another account, preferably at a different bank, if you're leaving a relationship or dealing with abusive people. Last story. My 27 male girlfriend, 27 female, is upset that I didn't help my ex-girlfriend, 26 female. My ex, Leah, 26 female, and I were together for about a year when I was 24. She ended up cheating on me with her ex-boyfriend and got pregnant with his child, so I broke off the relationship and moved on. I hadn't seen or spoken to her in years until Monday afternoon. I was expecting a call from a hiring manager about a job I had applied for. So when my phone rang, I answered it. On the other end was a woman speaking really quietly at first, asking if this was Justin, my name. When I said it was, she introduced herself as Leah and apologized. When she said her name, I remembered who it was and asked why she was calling me. She told me that she and her ex-boyfriend had gone to Walmart and had a fight because they couldn't afford items for their child. Apparently, he got so upset and blamed her for their situation, then started beating her in the car in the Walmart parking lot. He then told her to get out and left her stranded. She said she needed an Uber to get home. I told her I was sorry, but I couldn't help her, and I hung up. My girlfriend was with me and asked if that was the hiring manager. I explained what had happened, and she got upset. She said it changed the way she sees me because she has always known me to be a kind and respectful man, and she wants to be with someone who respects women. She felt that my decision to turn away a woman in need, even if it was my ex, showed a lack of respect for women. She said it seemed like I did it to punish Leah, though punishing her had nothing to do with my decision. My ex and I haven't been together in 2 years. I've moved on, and I don't feel like I have any responsibility to help someone I have no relationship with anymore. However, my girlfriend has been distant ever since, saying she's disappointed in me and questioning our relationship. She's worried that this is how I would treat her if something went wrong and we broke up. After that, she went home and she's been quiet instead of her usual enthusiastic self. I don't know how to bridge this gap. What can I do to fix this? You did the right thing. Why would Leah call someone she cheated on and hasn't spoken to in years in this situation instead of calling a friend or family member because she was trying to scam something out of you? If respect is so important to your girlfriend, she should understand that self-respect is most important, and that's exactly what you demonstrated. It's the only number she knows off the top of her head, or the closest geographically, or someone she felt safe with, or she's recently been attacked and she's in shock and her choices aren't the most logical. I don't feel like I have any responsibility to help someone I have no relationship with anymore. She wants to be with someone that helps others, not someone who only does it when they feel irresponsibility. You can't fix it. You are who you are, and she is who she is. There's no right person, but you seem incompatible. She was probably rattled you were cold about someone you once loved because she is not like that. This is the most reasonable response. Opie and his girlfriend have different views and may be incompatible. No one is in the wrong. It's wild how many people are slinging mud at the girlfriend. If it was serious enough that she was in danger, she could have called the police or mall security. If it was trivial enough to call you, someone she hasn't spoken to in 2 years and ended on bad terms with, she could have called family members, her friends. Her girlfriend isn't using much sense here. That's honestly how I feel.